You may be seated. Right. Good morning. Excellent. I'd like to welcome you to the 55th commencement at Bard College at Simon's Rock from wherever you are joining us, here in the tent, in the Daniel Arts Center, or home via live stream. My name is John B. Weinstein, and I have the great honor of being the provost and vice president of the college. While every year is remarkable, I'd like to maybe say some years are more remarkable than others, and this is a particularly remarkable one. These are the ways that the graduates before you, in general, arrived at Simon's Rock. Those getting their BAs tended to come in the lovely time of August 2020, where they did things like got on a plane to a school they'd never seen before, that their parents sort of put them on with whatever security was going on at the airport, or perhaps their parents dropped them off in a car that they were not permitted to get out of. I might have tapped on the window and said hello behind a mask, and you thought, who is this person? From that point, they were in their room for 2 weeks with usually one other person, and food that we very much tried to deliver personally that was usually kind of cold and slightly insufficient. They went through a variety of stages and phases that I hope are details of for some archivists, but for us to all kind of forget quickly. And from this, they began their journey. For some of our AA graduates, some of them came at the same time, but did that same thing as ninth graders. So you drop your 14-year-old off in the same way. Or for our students who started here 2 years ago, in lieu of maybe 2 years of high school that weren't really to their liking, but maybe were to everyone else's, they experienced 2 years in high school that in general in the world was not to anyone's liking, but still found that they were going to need something even more different to come here. And what was key was they wanted in-person learning, they wanted close engagement, they wanted the community feeling, things that many people thought would be impossible to have at that time and that this generation of students might entirely miss. But they were determined to make it happen, and they did, and I would like to give them a big round of applause for recognizing that. I am now pleased to welcome to the podium Jamie Clark, alumnus and chair of the Bard College at Simon's Rock Board of Overseers.
Okay, I want to welcome all of you, including President Botstein, Provost Weinstein, the faculty, administration, parents, friends, and fellow rockers, for I too am a rocker. Just a short 47 years ago, I sat right there in front waiting for my diploma and to be sent off into the world. Congratulations to all of you who are going to graduate today. It's a job well done, and you should be proud of your accomplishment. But at the same time, and I know I don't have to tell you this, but I'm going to anyway, I ask you to take a moment to remember to thank those around you who helped you on this journey, especially your parents, but also friends, siblings, mentors, all those who have been there for you and helped you to reach this momentous milestone. Despite the uncertainty you might feel about the future, it will all work out. Enjoy the ride for all it's worth. Whatever your field of interest, I urge you not to be shy. Go forth and unashamedly change the world. That's what rockers do, and we are all rockers. So congratulations.
It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Dr. Michael Lawrence. Michael styles himself as a professional word nerd, working at the intersection of language, design, and technology. He earned his BA from Simon's Rock in 2002, building a concentration that combined cultural studies, critical theory, linguistics, art history, and graphic design. Ideal preparation for his current job, which did not exist at that time. Working now in the relatively new fields of content design and UX writing, his job is to craft the language that appears in apps and web interfaces to make digital products more useful, usable, and inclusive. The work requires careful attention to the metaphors and narratives people use to make new sense of technology, as well as close partnership with software engineers, user researchers, visual designers, translators, marketers, and policy experts. He has worked with product and brand design teams at Meta, Indeed, and eBay, and done freelance naming and content strategy for a number of creative entrepreneurs. Michael transitioned into industry after beginning his career in academia. He served on the support staff of the first Bard High School Early College before going on to earn a PhD in rhetorical theory and criticism from the Department of Communication Studies at the University of Iowa. He served on the faculty of Columbia College Chicago as a full-time lecturer in liberal arts and sciences and acting program director for the college's first-year seminar program. He continues to work with college students, currently co-teaching an interdisciplinary seminar at the University of San Francisco on generative AI and the question of human creativity. Please join me in welcoming Michael to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. President Botstein, John, members of the board, faculty and staff, old friends, it's an honor and a joy to be back in this very special place. Thank you for inviting me. Graduates, what a privilege it is for me to join your family and friends in celebrating your remarkable accomplishments. Congratulations. Despite the disruption of a global pandemic, You've earned these degrees demonstrating a depth and fluency and integrity of thought that is very difficult and very rare, that you could get here, that you could thrive here, that you could gather here together today. None of this was guaranteed. There is so much to celebrate. And now, we're sending you to go forth into a world that badly needs your contributions, which is a nice way of saying they're kicking you out. Now that you've earned this degree, you may feel some pressure to figure out what to do with it. When I was a student here, I avoided the figure it out question as much as possible. I barely managed to pick a concentration. I just took whatever classes sounded interesting from whichever professors I wanted to learn from. Linguistics, law, design, critical theory, queer theory, film theory. When they finally made me pick something, I argued that all of these could count as cultural studies, and they let me keep going. On a snowy morning in May, yes, snow, yes, May, I marched across this stage with no idea what to do next. But I knew some Simon's Rock folks were in New York starting a high school, and I thought maybe I could work there while I figured it out. So I emailed them, Pat and Ba Win, every few weeks offering to help until they finally gave me a job and an excuse to move to the city. I continued to avoid figuring it out by going to grad school. And when I earned my PhD, I did the next obvious thing. I got a job teaching at a liberal arts college. It was demanding, and it felt like home, and I had incredible models to follow. Every fall, on the first day of class, I'd have my students introduce themselves by sharing a miniature life story in the form of a 6-word memoir. 18 nervous first years would share their poetic and often quite beautiful and witty lines about leaving home and chasing dreams, and the awkward first day of class energy would evolve into a discussion of life and craft and economy of language. Then I'd share my own 6-word memoir, the story of a Simon's Rocker turned liberal arts professor who was reluctant to figure it out. High school dropout, can't leave college. And then everything fell apart. A round of budget cuts eliminated my department and my faculty position, and like it or not, a decade after my own graduation here, I was again, right where you are, being told I'd have to leave college. And I picked 6 new words. Okay, fine, I'll figure it out. I think that's 6. And you know what I figured out? I figured out that figuring it out can be a miserable waste of time. During all the years I had avoided the question, I was actually doing a lot of things right. I was doing work I enjoyed, making an impact I was proud of. Without knowing it, I'd been doing the things the career books recommend. I'd made moves that resonated with my values, that piqued my curiosity, that took advantage of my skills, that sounded fun, that paid enough to meet my needs. I'd reached out for help and let people I trusted point me toward interesting opportunities. I explored with an open mind, and rather than worry too much about perfection or passion, I went where I could learn something, where I could learn something new and be helpful. I think that's how you do it. I think that's how you keep going. But when I felt forced to figure it out, I got myself stuck. I found that the sharp critical skills I'd cultivated here were actually keeping me stuck. When you're a master at finding flaws, you'll see that every path is problematic. I was sure that any workplace after academia would be boring and exploitative and, worse still, require me to dress in business casual. That same critical sensibility turned inward, showing up as a bullying voice in my head that told me I had nothing to offer anyway. Surely I had no skills, just look at my major. And what would my brilliantly critical Simon's Rock professors think if I just got some job? Spoiler, they will be very proud of you. They want you to be happy, not haunted. Right, professors? I spent a year applying to jobs I didn't want and didn't believe I would be good at. I bought the cheapest suit I could find, dreaded the thought of wearing it, but convinced myself I was ready for all the interviews that never came. I worked with job coaches and resume writers who, I found out, cannot help you if you tell them you have no idea what you're looking for. I beat myself up, and I didn't get anywhere, and I never figured it out. What I did is return to the things that Simon's Rockers are good at doing, not just thinking about, but doing. We're good at making space for big questions, engaging with them, contributing to the conversation, turning in the thesis, before we have perfect answers. We're good at getting started, staying curious, and making up the path as we go along. These are not critical thoughts. These are essential actions. I started doing some freelance writing, not because I believed I was a good writer, but because I met people who were terrified of writing and who would pay money to avoid it. I built up a portfolio, asked for help, made some connections, and eventually got offered a short contract with a big tech company. I had big doubts about tech jobs and tech companies, but I put those thoughts aside and flew to San Francisco and never left. Tech is weird. Big tech is weird. I was confused by absolutely everything, the jargon, the meeting room etiquette, the free snacks. But I stayed curious, and I found a lot of the same things there that had drawn me to academia. Smart people, interesting problems, lots of possibility, little hierarchy, flexible-ish hours, and no suits. I asked people I met there about their work. Turns out they're not all evil genius types trying to destroy the democracy to get more clicks. It was 2016, I did have to ask. I met researchers and strategists and artists and big data people and big vision people. I learned about an emerging role attracting a lot of ex-journalists and ex-librarians and part-time poets, a kind of writer/designer/information architect responsible for the language people see in apps and websites. That's now become the core of what I do, writing the little words that you never notice that make the tech that you use every day feel easy and intuitive. The buttons, the menus, the error messages. I organize settings, I name features, I declutter navigation bars. Some days the job feels like teaching, making very complicated things very clear. But given the power and the reach of the products I work on and the speed at which these companies operate and the absurd space constraints, I can feel some days like I'm being asked to defuse a bomb by writing a haiku. The goal is to make every word intuitive, on-brand, accessible, easy to translate into 24 languages, obvious to anyone who's just skimming, acceptable to the lawyers, compliant with global policy, compatible with code, and short enough to fit on very tiny screens. It's a pretty good job for someone who studied linguistics and law and design and cultural theory, who can tell a nuanced story in 6 words, and who is comfortable keeping things moving even before everything is figured out. And that's just what they pay me for. I don't think that's the core of what I actually contribute. I show up in that space very much the same way I learned to show up in this one. I join the conversation. I listen carefully and speak up honestly when a team is considering something new and complicated and likely to have consequences to users across the planet, which we cannot possibly anticipate in full. I ask the people in the room, and I ask myself, what are the implications? What else should we consider? Who is this for? Who are we forgetting? What have we still not figured out? And what, in the face of so much uncertainty, is the very best thing we can do anyway? That's what I learned to do here, and that's what I'm celebrating with you today. I used to think Simon's Rock was about going fast, college early, big ideas. Now I think it's about slowing down a little, making time and space to doubt, to dialogue, and to discover, and to see these as actions, not just ideas, that are crucial, even and perhaps especially when the world pushes you to speed up, get in line, and have it all figured out. Graduates, as a fellow alum, as someone who has spent many years in many classrooms, I know there is nothing quite like the intellectual experience you have had here. And as someone who now works in an industry where little decisions have enormous consequences, I know how desperately the world needs you to put that education to work. Beyond that, I cannot know what you will do with these degrees, and neither can you, and that's more than okay, it's the whole point. Graduates, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And now, Eloisa Steppen will speak on behalf of the Associate of Arts degree recipients.
Hello and good morning. Though the school year always officially begins in the fall, as a January admission student, I have grown to associate the spring semester with beginnings. 2 years ago, in January 2022, I made a trip with my parents from my hometown in New Jersey to Great Barrington, Massachusetts, to visit Simon's Rock for the first time. I can remember the way my heart was pounding out of my chest as I walked into the Blodgett building that's right behind us now for an admissions interview. I have since forgotten all the small details about that interview, but I do remember one thing. As I walked out and I looked into my parents' smiling faces, I knew my life would change forever. Throughout our time here and through every changing season, we have watched this campus physically transform. From leaves turning orange and red into the blossoming beautiful green in the spring, we are blessed to have had this place to call a home. But the real privilege was getting to watch the school transform us. We found ourselves trying things we never thought we would when the opportunities arose. From playing a new intramural sport, to performing in a dance recital for the first time, to spending a semester in an island in the Caribbean, for some of you, and to giving a speech. Hey. Through challenging ourselves, we discovered our passions, and we realized that there are things we would never try again. But it's moments like these where we sit wearing our caps and our gowns, where we're surrounded by people we love and people that love us, about to receive degrees that we worked really hard for, that we can confidently say not a single moment here was spent in vain. Our sacrifices, our efforts, and especially our failures led up to exactly this point. Long after we go, and as we continue to grow along our journey elsewhere, we will find that our foundation was built on this rock. And the lessons we will carry are endless. This place has taught us discipline, resilience, and that sometimes the best thing you can do is to simply just show up. It's a place where we learn to smile with our teeth and speak in class because our voices do matter and our smiles do light up each other's days. It's a place that has taught us to welcome and embrace differences while showing us how much better the world is this way. It's a place that urges and encourages us to bring about change in the world while recognizing that there's been a lot of change made it possible just for us to be standing here today. To the faculty and staff who have wrapped us with so much patience and so much compassion while always believing in our potential to grow, to our families who have invested in our future while supporting us in every single step of our present, to our friends who have blessed us with days full of color and a lot of memories and laughter, we thank you so much. We are all experiencing life for the first time together, and I'm honored to have crossed paths with each and every one of you at this time and at this place. It is only thanks to this community that once again, even at the end of this chapter, it feels much more like a beginning than an end. Thank you.
Thank you, Eloisa. And now, Jake Aloya will speak on behalf of the Bachelor of Arts degree recipients.
Good morning. Good morning. Seniors, and yes, sophomores and parents, friends and family, faculty, staff, everyone else who's under this tent with us, but mostly seniors, as the most tight-knit class that I have ever seen, really, this speech is for you. Wow. Allow me to be cliche for a moment and say, congratulations, guys, we made it. And yes, I know that it could not get more cliche than that, but think about that for a second. For us, that statement means more than it has for many in the past and will for many in the future. Think about where you were 4 years ago today. I can tell you exactly where I was. Like many of you, I was at my parents' house, in Colorado, alone, in my room. That's because 4 years ago today, we were less than 70 days into the original COVID quarantine. And yes, I know, oh no, it's going to be a speech about overcoming COVID, but I promise it's not, at least not entirely. COVID, however, does deserve its honorable mention. We are the COVID class, but we're so much more than that as well. We're the first class our treasured Provost John has seen through from first year to senior. We're the class who was handed, with no preparation, the responsibility of building back up a community and a campus life that was eradicated spontaneously by the pandemic just before we arrived, for which I might add, we have in many ways succeeded, as evidenced even now by the traditions we've begun here today, from our new class banners, the ringing of the bell to start the procession, and the BA graduate stoles we're each wearing around our necks. We are, as we're often told, one of the most driven and passionate classes Simon's Rock has seen in years. Being the group that chose to come, stay, and persevere through everything that has been thrown our way has made us unimaginably close. And from what I've seen these past several weeks and years, I am sure that we will all go on to continue doing amazing work as close friends years into the future. So yes, we are the COVID class, the select few who chose to, in the face of quarantine and pandemic, say, I don't care, pack your bags, and come start college early, and who stayed and made it through to the end. And what an experience that was. 4 years ago, how many of you thought that today you would be receiving your bachelor's degree? Not many, I suspect. But here you are, surviving the chaos and building something stronger out of it. So for us, that congratulations you made it means a little bit something more. Being the COVID class gave us some wild experiences and many memories. We're one of the few classes that will understand and remember both phases and stages with numbers and letters, testing Tuesdays, or the footprints that line the outside of the dining hall. Before I move on, I'd like to share with you all just one of my favorite COVID memories here today. At the beginning of COVID on campus, we lived in isolation in our dorms for several weeks with our meals delivered to us daily in our rooms. Sometimes those meals would be delivered by our provost, John, himself. I remember the first time I met John, the leader of my new college, the person in charge, in what is perhaps the most weird and bizarre way imaginable, as he handed me my quarantine delivery snack mid-morning through the doorway of my room. So, John, I'd like to recreate that moment for you now. John, inside that snack bag, you will find exactly what I did that morning. 1 red apple, 1 pack of Pop-Tarts, and finally, most importantly, a single packet of butter. So John, I hope that as this class leaves you here today, with this gift, we can leave you with the same wonder and curiosity that I know I've had since that morning freshman year. What on earth is that packet of butter supposed to be for? Simon's Rock has given us so much, and we've given back much to it in return. Chief among these things, I feel, are the relationships that we've built here, which are literally irreplaceable. For me, of course, Helen and nearly all of my closest friends. For Simon's Rock, for many of us, this is the first place that we have truly felt we belonged and found our people or our group, and that will always mean the world to me. Of course, there are also the incredible relationships built with our faculty and staff in a way we never would have been able to at any other institution. The connections we built in our time here, with peers, professors, and staff alike, to all be treated like friends, like family even, are one of the reasons that Simon's Rock is as special as it is. If it weren't for the people and relationships at this place, I would not be who I am today. I would never have found my path or built out my future prospects as I have, and I know the story is the same for so many of you. It is because of the people here that Simon's Rock can give each of us what it has, and it is because of the people here, because of all of you, that I can reflect back on just how much it has given me. If there is one thing I learned in the process of writing my senior thesis and my time here at Simon's Rock, it was clear. A consistent message that I got throughout this year and those prior. The systems which help people, which make a real difference, aren't often designed to do so. It's not the system that's helping us, it's the people within it. Each successful system often had a single person or small group behind it who cared unconditionally and poured their heart and soul into it, because they saw the good it would do, no matter what it gave them in return. Simon's Rock is made up of, and in many ways is itself, one of these systems. I spent a long time thinking about how I wanted to write this speech, how I wanted to sum up what was easily the wildest 4 years of my life into a few minutes. At the end of the day, it's impossible, but what I came to is this. Each element of these 4 years and of this experience is because of people. A select group of people who care so strongly, so unwaveringly about what they're doing that they will give anything and everything to make those experiences a reality. I suspect, as I say that, each and every one of you are thinking of someone, or perhaps multiple someones. I am thinking of many. From the staff who would chat with me late into the night whenever I saw them, and no matter how busy they were, would always find the time to remind me how well I was doing, how impressed they were, and how much they admired the relationships I had built, or the peer, my fellow student, who pushed and encouraged me to chase my passions, take risks, and experiment, and who therefore nearly single-handedly lit the path for me that I'm on today, to the faculty who taught me day after day how to be a better student and a better person, and as I began to succeed, who would host me and my peers for dinner or coffee, a potluck, a conversation, or any number of other events to plan, chat, enjoy a home-cooked meal, and relax. Yet most of all, far and away, I am thinking of you, my fellow seniors, my closest friends, the people who have seen more phases of me and my identity than all but the most select few in my life, and who have stood by me through each and every one of them. Seniors, it is because of you, because of us, because of each other that this place is what it is, and that it could do for us what it has. It and we carried so many of us from the crazy paths that we were on 4 years ago to this moment today where we are right now. It is because of each other, because of the unimaginably tight bond that we have forged over these 4 years here together, through weekly senior nights and all-nighters to finish thesis, chaotic adventures to all corners of the region, and through our ability to find all of each other exactly when we needed it most, that we have made it, that we can say that we made it here today, under this tent, about to be college graduates, ready to go on to whatever next incredible phase of our lives comes. So seniors, as we think about the people that got us here today, that made this experience what it was, and as we think about each other and how in little groups and every once in a while as a whole, we pulled each other through to the other side, I would like to leave you all with one more accomplishment, one final achievement to celebrate today on top of the incredibly long list which we already are. Some of you under this tent will already be intimately familiar with one of the seniors' favorite games this past year, but for those of you who are not, let me key you in. As you may have gathered from the one single row that we take up under this tent and the things I've shared in this speech, this senior class is small. We are few, we are close, we are tight-knit, and we are special. And because we are so small, because there are so few of us, and because, with as close as we are, we would often find ourselves hanging out together, we got into a bit of a habit. We estimated roughly what percentage of the senior class each one of us was worth. And whenever we found a group of ourselves together, we would do the quick math and ballpark what percentage of the senior class is in the room right now. So, my friends, my beloved seniors, in these last few moments that I can still call you all that before we forego that title as we graduate, I would like to invite you all to join me in saying, for what is excitingly the first, yet also tragically the last time, hey, 100%.
Thank you, Jake. Now I'm pleased to ask Brendan Matthews, Dean of Faculty and Curricular Development, to come to the podium for the presentation of academic and community service prizes.
Thanks, John. These students have been recognized for outstanding achievement by the faculty in their respective academic divisions. For outstanding achievement by graduating AA students in the Division of the Arts, Agnes Allman and Michael Barrett. For outstanding achievement by graduating BA students in the Division of the Arts, Falcon Lena and Yona Sadek. For outstanding achievement by graduating AA students in the Division of Languages and Literature, Parker Mock and Yael Esri. For outstanding achievement by graduating BA students in the Division of Languages and Literature, Palma Gloria Maya Johnson and Rowan Truman. For outstanding achievement by graduating AA students in the Division of Science, Mathematics, and Computing, Joshua Analama and Sarah Wang. For outstanding achievement by graduating BA students in the Division of Science, Mathematics, and Computing, Ke Coco Dung and Hannah Wheeler. For outstanding achievement by graduating AA students in the Division of Social Studies, Joe Revis and Knox Tant. For outstanding achievement by graduating BA students in the Division of Social Studies, Helen Regina Cohen and Jake Vero Aloya. For outstanding achievement by graduating BA students in interdivisional studies, Indiana Damian Kumrian, Ramon Hadassah Walker, and Quinn Raper. And finally, this student has been recognized for their outstanding leadership and contributions to the campus and surrounding communities and is being awarded the Community Service Award, Messiah Vision.
Each year, the senior class, on behalf of the student body, presents a series of awards recognizing faculty and staff. The first of these is the John A. Glover Award. Established in 1985 by Teresa Glover and her daughters, Sarah, class of 91, and Elizabeth, class of 92, this award honors the memory of an outstanding scholar, teacher, mentor, author, and editor. It is given each year to a Simons Rock faculty member in recognition of their knowledge of subject, love of learning, excellence in teaching, and dedication to students. Indiana Kumrian, Ke Dung, and Quinn Raper will announce this year's recipient.
Good morning. This faculty member, despite not being my division leader, has taught some of my favorite classes at Simons Rock because she makes learning just so fun.
This professor has an incredible infectious passion for her field, showed me everything that sciences could be, and is one of my favorite people on this campus.
Mine's a little bit longer. This professor's mentorship has meant the world to me. Before I became her mentee, I never really knew that learning was allowed to be so fun for me, and that I was allowed to dream of working in the discipline of field biology, which I had longed for since childhood. And getting to be by her side in the field and in the lab and in the classroom has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. And she's a mentor who I would follow to the end of the world. And I thank her for making my dreams come true.
May we present this award to Sarah J. Snyder.
Oh, we give it to her.
Okay, so true. Pass it down, pass it down.
The Ruth B. Ide Good Sport Award was established by the Bachelor of Arts class of 1972 to recognize a staff member, Ruth B. Ide, served as an administrative secretary at Simon's Rock from 1968 to 1986. Rowan Truman will announce this year's Ruth B. Ide Award recipient.
Not very tall. What I think constitutes a good sport is when you don't have to stop to consider that the person is being a good sport, which is why I think that this recipient is so deserving. I've noticed a phenomenon on campus that there's a sort of mysticism surrounding this person. Everyone knows that this person knows what needs to be done, and you won't doubt this person's capabilities for even a second. They do all of this not expecting praise, but because they have a genuine love and respect for the students and staff and faculty of this school. Even if they choose to show it by telling you that you're crazy for cueing an entire song with follows, or telling you that you have weak nerd arms when you can only carry 2 lights at once instead of 7, plus keys and a wrench. This is someone you can come to with any kind of problem and have full trust that they will help you fix it. They may gently tease you for the situation, but that just makes you feel even more secure with this person because you know they're never actually judging you. This person is someone that everyone loves and everyone can hear jingling down the hallway. The recipient of the Ruth B. Ide Good Sport Award is our resident god of the DAC and my mentor, Jean Wolf.
The Richard C. Drum Senior Award was established in 2001 in honor of Dick Drum, a member of the physical plant staff who worked on the Simons Rock property for 42 years, first for the Hall family, then for the college. The award is given to a longtime member of the faculty or staff who has dedicated his or her professional life to the college. Hannah Wheeler and Helen Cohen will announce this year's recipient of the Richard C. Drum Award.
The seniors chose to recognize someone who has gone above and beyond, not only as an exceptional educator, but also as a trailblazer for new programs at Simons Rock. This faculty member has spent her career sowing the seeds of new paths and tending the growth of not only her students, but the entire community.
The recipient of the 2024 Richard C. Drum Award is Professor of French and Head of the Center for Food Studies, Dr. Marianne Tevin.
Established by the BA class of 2015, the Wendy Schifrin Award honors Wendy Schifrin's legacy and commitment to Simon's Rock. Wendy was a beloved faculty member who brought the joy of dance to many students. This award is granted to a faculty member who exhibits exceptional mentorship, not only to students, but also to other faculty, staff, and all members of the community. Chosen by the faculty and the senior class, recipients of this award demonstrate passion and care in their contributions to the well-being of their peers and colleagues. Falcon Lena and M. Rooney will announce this year's recipient of the Wendy Schifrin Award.
I signed up for my first ceramics class here because all of the upperclassmen kept going on about how awesome Ben and the Simon's Rock ceramics department is. And 3 years later, I can say that all of the rumors are true. I really appreciate how Ben values the work of every single student, regardless of their skill level. This really creates a studio environment where everyone can feel so proud of their progress together. I never felt self-conscious about people seeing my progress and my failures, and this gave me the confidence to feel inspired and take on bigger projects. And Ben would always raise his eyebrows and be like, all right, no matter what you want to do, I'll teach you what you need to know to make this happen. And I've got to say that working on projects and doing something that was really difficult for me, it gave me a lot of confidence that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life, no matter what I do. So.
Although I've gone to Ben many times with different questions and worries, one of the first instances that always comes to mind when I think about Ben and his mentorship is from my first semester. I was teaching a class called Nonlinear Serial Image Making, and I decided that I was going to assign David Wojnarowicz's book, Close to the Knives. It's an intense memoir of a young traveler facing many physical and emotional obstacles as he searches for belonging and artistic achievement in the midst of the AIDS epidemic. I was worried that I was coming in way too hot and was unsure of how the students would perceive Wojnarowicz's writing within the context of the course. I remember Ben leaning against my flat file, listening intently to my pedagogical reasoning before telling me that even though he could not imagine teaching that book himself, he thought it sounded great and that I shouldn't second guess it. Ben has never avoided questioning my ideas when he thinks they need to be fleshed out, and he brings a criticality to all conversations that I always interpret as respect. He's built a beautiful ceramic workspace where students want to be and where they feel ownership over their work. Even before I officially started my job in the summer of 2018, I needed a place to work. Ben let me into the DAC, set me up with welding equipment, and let me alone to work with the doors open with the grassy fields behind the studio, made me feel welcomed and invited non-hierarchically into the art program at Simon's Rock. He always picks up the phone and makes time to talk, whether it's about a dog problem, a house problem, or something that happened at school, and has pushed me like a friend, trusted my instincts, reminded me time and again that my future here is mine to shape, and I know he does this for so many students every year. On behalf of the students and faculty, it's an honor to present Ben Krupka with this year's Wendy Schifrin Award.
With the semester coming to a close, we will say farewell to Debbie Dillon, our database application specialist, who will retire after more than 16 years serving the Simon's Rock and the greater Bard community. Debbie has provided an excellent model of collaboration to all of us who know her and have interacted with her on the campus in so many ways. Here's a small example of the attributes which make her such a special person and have made her such an incredible asset to the institution over the time she's been with us. Debbie has an outstanding work ethic. She cares about the mission of Simon's Rock and has provided much focus to the ITS department. Her technical skills are deep, and yet she has brought a humility to her approach to collaboration, which invites others to learn from her. Debbie's friendly demeanor, coupled with a strong imperative to speak up when a process can be improved or a plan is heading in the wrong direction, has been invaluable. Debbie has become a trusted friend to many, and her appearance walking her dog Eddie on campus was a magnet for many years for a lot of campus folks, especially students who loved his friendly, open demeanor, which so closely matches his humans. Debbie, we thank you and wish you all the best. I now ask President Leon Botstein to come to the podium and present his charge to the graduates.
First, let me congratulate the members of the class of 2024. And as has been said already, they have a special distinction because of their ability to survive and gain from the experience of the pandemic. So a round of applause for the class of 2024. The other thing I'd like to do is to acknowledge everybody who is here who is not getting a diploma. You're here for a reason, and that likely reason is that you're related to someone who's graduating. And that relationship, whether it be a parent, grandparent, cousin, sibling, is never easy. But this is a moment to be proud and for the graduates to turn to you and to thank you, friends and family, for your support, without which they would never have arrived at this place. A round of applause for the friends and family. And you've seen from the many awards that we are all very grateful, first and foremost, to the faculty who have taught you. And I see around, not always visible, the people who work in the offices, give you difficulties in getting things you need, the people that keep the physical plant going, the heat going, and serve you the food, the people that make your life, we hope, enjoyable and smooth enough for you to pursue your studies, for all the people that work at Simon's Rock. Now, as all of you have discovered, this is not an ordinary place. There isn't a place like it. There's no imitation. It's the exact opposite of Starbucks. There is only one such place in the country. It's the only residential early college in the United States and in the world. And that provides you, in some measure, an obligation, being a graduate of this place. It's not interchangeable with any other. On the other hand, it has been responsible for a gift to thousands and thousands of students around the country. This fall, we, Bard, will open the 10th Bard High School Early College in Brownsville, Brooklyn. So, Michael, when you traveled down with Bawin and with Pat Sharp to open the first one in Manhattan almost 25 years ago, it has grown into a real movement, an effort to transfer the experience that these graduates have had and that you had, and extend it to underserved populations in 6 cities, 4 in New York, in Cleveland, in Baltimore, in Washington, D.C., in New Orleans, and Newark. We also have agreed to open a Bard High School on the West Bank, on Abu Dis, on the campus of Al-Quds, our partner in Palestine, which will be the first foreign Bard High School early college. And I thank you, Michael, for the wonderful talk. He actually remembers his own commencement, which is a miracle all its own. So I'm supposed to leave you with some lasting piece of advice. My capacity to do so does not exist. But rather than give up, I have just a very few small points for you to think about. This has been a very difficult year for American academic life. I can remember no more difficult a year, and it isn't quite over. So what do we learn? First of all, we've learned from Simon's Rock, in particular, that being big is not a virtue, and being big doesn't ensure that you can cultivate the qualities of mind that a university and college is supposed to do. What we prove is at the end of the day, despite AI, any ChatGPT, even some contraption that borrowed the Bard name briefly by Google, the process of learning is a human process in real time between people, and you've witnessed that here today already. So being small is a virtue. That's not what business thinks. That's not what Meta thinks. And all those other lovely, large, multinational, oppressive corporations we have to deal with that control and invade our private life, and I'm not paranoid. So we need more respect for the intimate, the small, the unique that Simon's Rock represents. So value the smallness and the intimacy you've experienced here. The second is that we're poor, unbelievably poor. We have no money. And when you recover from the laughter, you'll discover that that is a virtue. We have nothing to divest. Our ambition is not to be an investment bank. Whatever money we have, we spend on teaching and learning, and not in the stock market. Third, we believe that a college or university is a special place. What makes this not a high school, or what makes the idea of early college possible, is your achievement, which is our trust in you as people who are able, as adults, to use your intellectual and imaginative faculties to their utmost. I know you've wasted a lot of time. I know you haven't used every moment efficiently. But efficiency is not about learning. It is those downtimes that lead to times of insight. We're not machines. And the reality is that in the experience of learning, if you're taken seriously as a learner, the work that you will do will be outstanding. And what makes us different from a high school is we don't infantilize you. And we provide you the freedom and the opportunity to make a mark for yourself and by yourself through the use of your mind and your imagination. And that requires freedom. The virtue of being small and poor is we will never have an occasion to invite law enforcement to keep order on campus. But that requires, on your part, the ability to listen to somebody you don't agree with, to speak in something more than epithets, to dispense with group identification. Those diplomas have only one thing on them, and that is your name, not your race, not your religion, not your nationality, not your sexual preference, not your gender, just your name. And that represents the uniqueness of who you are. And that is our responsibility, not to speak in cliches, in phrases, often in incomprehensible and ugly jargon that represents some sort of moral virtue. One of the advantages of teaching in a small place, face to face, is that you can never be so mean as you are when you're online. And learning is about generosity and affection and empathy and forgiveness and understanding even of the things you don't agree with. The happiest moment of your academic career is one you probably will never think about again, and that is the day of the eclipse. Why? Because that was the one event in which nobody could accuse it of some kind of conspiracy. It wasn't a Zionist conspiracy. It wasn't an Islamic conspiracy. It wasn't a MAGA conspiracy. It wasn't a liberal conspiracy. And the criteria of what it was and when it happened and what it meant was only a question of clarification. And there could be a right and wrong. The eclipse didn't happen on a different day in a different place. And we weren't being fooled by the imperialist and colonial essence of modern rational science. So my advice to you is don't give up the search for truth, for agreement, for understanding, using your reason and your human empathy. That's what you should have learned here. I think you have, and for that, I congratulate you.
President Botstein, I would like to introduce the Bard College at Simon's Rock class of 2024. Will the candidates for the degree of Associate in Arts please rise? Mr. President, the faculty has determined that these students have successfully completed the course of study for the Associate in Arts degree. It is my honor to present them to you on behalf of the faculty of Bard College at Simon's Rock.
So these ceremonies have two parts. Well, first is a declaration and then the handing of diplomas. So the declaration is, upon the recommendation of the faculty of to the Board of Trustees and by its mandate, I confer upon you the degree of Associate in Arts in course with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations.
So you may be seated. All right. Will the graduates please come forward individually to receive their diploma as I call their names? Harlan Abrams. Agnes Allman. Neela Ogborn. Nandi Ung. Thora Thandar Ung. Michael Barrett. Charlotte Behrens. Anna Boyerman. Jack Bala. Cyrus Blake. David Akiva Braunschweig. Sophia Cho. Lucy Coleman. Rory Kraus. Ian Matthias Daly. Rosaline Eccles. Joshua Enelama. Yael Ezri. Ren Ferris. Cherry Farrar. Hermine Fontan. Ruben Junta. Nick Gunter. Megan Hackett. Jillian Heath. India Holt. Josephine Hurst. Sahira Joshi. Scrap Kagan. Arnav Kalavagunta. Claire Kelly. Brent Lee. Salem Lockney. Kyle Lockwood. Parker Mock. Jaden Mack. Ian McIntosh. Leah Miller. Amanda Nivanya Mohan. Vasilisa Mullen. Ben Onime. Leo Kosimov. Joe Revis. Paul Rose. Ben Rosenbayer. Emmeline Rowan. Magnus Ryan. Claire Sober. Owen Siki Rusuan. Eloisa Steppen. Lucy Swindlehurst. Tushke Toktobayar. Janila Torres Chung. Alessandro Jojo Vinay. Sarah Wong. Jonah Paz. Isaac Wheeler. Ellie Wickline. Hazel Venus Williams. Mars Williams. Ruby Zachs. And now, will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? Mr. President, these students have successfully completed the course of study for the Bachelor of Arts degree. It is my honor to present them to you on behalf of the faculty of Bard College at Simon's Rock.
You will notice that each of these students will get 2 degrees. One is from Simon's Rock and the other is from Bard. And since it's a bachelor's degree and comes through the degree granting authority in the state of New York, which dates from the 19th century, this granting is in Latin. And it says essentially what was said to the AAs, but with the BA, that I'm giving you this diploma with the authority vested in me, with all the rights and honors and responsibilities and privileges, which I cannot describe to you, that are associated with getting a bachelor's degree. So I congratulate you. The declaration is Actoritate mihi commissa, te ad gradum in artibus baccalaureae admitto, omniaque iure a privilegia, ad hunc gradum petitentia tibi concedo, in testimonium hoc diploma, tibi solemniter trado. Congratulations to you all.
So you may be seated on this side for now. Will the graduates please come forward to receive their diplomas as I call their names? Kai Mansa Addo. Jake Vero Aloya. Falcon Lena. Maria Chabanu. Helen Regina Cohen. Coco Dong. Charlotte Epstein. Noor Goldner Cohen Zedek. Shahi Kanyamori. Indiana Damian Kumrian. Reitong Liu. Jack Massey. Oh, I see the letter. Yep. I see the line. Got it. That's fine. Patrick Madaus. Palma Gloria Maya Johnson. Quinn Raper. Okay. Yona Sadeh. Justin Sapoon. Rowan Truman. Messiah Vision. Ramon Hadassah Walker. Hannah Wheeler. Alexander Ziskovsky. Mr. President, parents and friends, please join me in recognizing the Bard College at Simon's Rock class of 2024. I now ask that our graduates stand and take a moment and to celebrate. We are about to move the tassel from the right side of the cap to the left. Don't do it just yet, but that's what we're about to do. You will do that when I shout congratulations. So we're ready for what we're going to do? Move the tassel from the right to the left. Congratulations, graduates. Okay. To conclude our ceremony, I now would like to invite Nandi Ong, Helen Cohen, and Jake Aloya to center stage to close the ceremony with the ringing of the Burmese spinning gong. The Burmese spinning gong, or chidza, is played at the conclusion of ceremonial occasions. The reverberating sound we will hear conveys our fondest prayers to the graduates as they make their way in the wide world, to those who could not be with us today, and to those we have lost. The gong will be struck 3 times. Following the last echo of the gong, the recessional will proceed to a reception on Blodgett Lawn. May I ask that you allow the platform party and graduates to exit the tent first. And now we will ring the gong 3 times to conclude our ceremony.